So a little over a month ago, I was driving my car around, delivering pizzas as usual, and a deer jumped out of nowhere and hit my car. Now, luckily or unluckily, I was only going 35 miles an hour. But the deer ended up damaging a lot of things. It smashed the front headlight. I had to order a replacement. It also took off a lot of paint, and it destroyed the front grille. Like, that thing was shattered into a million pieces. It also caused a pretty sizable dent in the fender here. I think the only way I can fix this is to take off this fender and hammer it out. But the worst thing of all is that it really screwed up the hood alignment on this car. You can see the hood is actually going over the front bumper here. And if we follow it back, the gap gets a lot wider over here on this side. On this side, the gap where the bumper is huge. And then if we follow it up, it gets very tight right here at the top. And these pieces are pretty much touching. The main thing I want to do today is fix this hood alignment. And I've got just the tool. This is a 10-ton hydraulic ram, and it's got a lot of pulling power. And if anything, this will definitely fix this hood alignment problem. The first thing I want to do is take this fender off and see if I can't hammer out this dent. I made the fender look a lot better than it was. It's not perfect and it's a bit rippled. It's pretty good though. It looks pretty straight from an angle. It will need to be painted. I think if I do paint it, if I just put some filler over this, I could really get it smooth that way. So it doesn't all have to be about the metal. I mean, this got really hit when the deer hit it, so it's really hard to make it perfect. If I put a broomstick handle against the hood of the car, I point my finger down to where the core support is, and then I check the other side. My finger's not pointing where it should be. It's definitely moved out about ½ an inch. From the top view, you can see that there's a bigger gap on this side than over here. I would say that since this is the frame rail here, and it's not definitely doesn't want to move, this is about how far out of shape the core support is. It's just about by that much. This side apron looks like it had some impact because the clamshell is sort of opened here and there, but on the other side it looks just like that. Probably the only thing that's bent is this core support, but maybe just if anything there's a tiny little bend here. I'm sure that'll get pulled out when I pull this part out. So I think I found my movable object, and I'm going to wrap some chain around this bucket and I'll use that as the anchor point. Okay, I think I got it figured out. So I've got the chain wrapped around the back of the bucket here. You can see it there. So obviously this is not going to break. And I've got the ram attached here in the middle. The tractor still won't start, so I'm going to move the car around to position it right. Then it should be good to go. That definitely worked. It definitely started pulling it out a little bit. It started pulling the car even. So I put on the parking brake. Maybe that will help. It's also sitting on some ice, so it's probably not the best day to do it. I'm gonna put a blanket over this, just in case it breaks. Don't want it to die. And let's keep going until it's straight. Okay, so I just took a bunch of measurements. I took some from here to bolts down here, and the strut to here, and the hood to here, and they all are perfectly like within millimeters of that side. So that's amazing. It just worked out first try, literally. So if I close the hood now, there isn't really a fender or bumper to compare anything to yet, but the gap looks a lot smaller on this side, which is nice. And up here at the top where it used to be touching, it's actually not touching anymore, but it is pretty close still. And I think that the hood was definitely impacted as well. It was moved this way. So I don't know, maybe I'll come back and fix the hood later. So that's it. I'm very happy that it all worked out. I was afraid that I might like over pull, but I think once it was in the right place, everything started pulling together at once, so it kind of prevented that. But yeah, I'm amazed that that actually worked so well. I think I'm going to go back to the house now and put back the panels and see what the panel gaps are and stuff. I'm getting pretty close now, but I can't assemble the car yet because there are still a few more brackets that need to be bent, and I'm going to bend them out using a hammer and a slide hammer. So let me do that. Wow, I am just so impressed. Look at how awesome this is. Here's the front part. All of these clip holes, mounting holes, they all line up perfectly. And just all the brackets are nice. And I hammered these out and made them straight again. And here, I still have to fix this. This was like this before. It's a little bit raised up. On the other side, of course, it's not like that. It's smooth here, but if I just push this down a little bit, then this will line up. But yeah, and then it is still too low right there. I'm not really sure what I'll do. It's really hard working that metal. Seeing this car for the past few months like this, I just know exactly what it looks like. So seeing how much better it is just makes me feel so happy. All right, everyone. So as it is, there are a few more things I could do to it, like fixing the hood and making the fender look a little bit better, and maybe the paint and stuff. But just for now, that's a lot of work, and I'm pretty happy with it as it is. So I'm just gonna put it back together and call it a wrap. After putting everything back together, I think my car looks so much better than it was before. From a 10-foot distance, you can't even tell that there's a hood alignment problem, and the only thing noticeable is this chipped paint and missing grille. This was the original impact point of the deer. So it smashed the headlight, but I've replaced that. I've smoothed out the fender here. With the help of the hydraulic ram, I've pulled out the frame, and now there is a gap here, so that looks a lot better. And following it up, it still does get bigger at the top. I still haven't fixed the hood alignment yet. Now, there's actually a gap that goes all the way, and it's consistent to this side. If you remember here, there was a huge gap, and now it's more normal. And if we keep going up all the way to the top of the hood, the gap isn't as bad as it was before. So that's it for this video. If you like seeing me use the hydraulic ramp to fix frame damage, then consider subscribing because I'm planning on doing more of that in the future. Thanks for watching.